Oh, hi everyone. Today we're gonna continue on the neovim pull request, and I had completely changed the implementation because I stumbled over one issue and couldn't resolve it otherwise. So yeah, I will show you later. And I thought I will do some small adjustments to my configuration and maybe show off some things that I had discovered lately, which are pretty handy. So yeah, I will show you later. So one thing which is a really great feature, by the way, let me just close this. So there is this new feature which is really cool. It has a couple other stuff in it, but one thing is most useful to me, and yeah, maybe also to you. So let's look at this. This is an experimental feature, so if you enable it, don't blame developers or me if it does not work. This is this new messages UI. So let's see here. It's XUI X2E. This is the feature. Let me just make it a little bit smaller so we can read here. Yeah, this is how you enable it. Here. Just copy paste it there. Oops. And what it allows you to do actually is if you get any errors, let maybe just create some. Let's put here some errors in my configuration. Let me just add this one in here. Actually, it does not load. Then add a bad example. And let's then jump maybe. Let's jump in this module here. Oops. Here, let's add something. Not sure if this works. Actually, we need just one error somewhere. Okay. Wait, why doesn't it work? Enable true. Let's maybe see if this even changed anything. Let's do an update. It should be already on this version, which I currently have, so... Enable... It's really strange. This should work, actually. I have the 12 version. I had enabled this on my other machine and it worked perfectly. Do I have to open up any file for this? Let's open X command C and log file is large. Let's update some of them here. Do I have to enable anything else for this? I think there is something else that has to be enabled. So where to place regular messages, either in the command line or in separate message thing. This. Nothing there. Now I just need to generate some messages, right? Let's go .bsp, maybe here. Let's provoke some errors. This could be a good candidate for errors. Okay, it's just frozen. Now we have something. No messages. So yeah, I guess I show it on another day when I figured out why it does not work as it should. There's definitely something wrong with my configuration, but I cannot figure out what it is. Okay. Now, at least we have a couple of errors. And now you can actually go over the errors here. So it's separate buffer, which is opening now. So if you have some entries in your messages, then you can actually navigate and use this as every other normal buffer. And this is really great because often I wanted to copy stuff from the messages, like errors or something. And yeah, you just had to grab the mouse and select, and then you could copy it. Yeah, but now you can just use your regular shortcuts and everything you're used to use in regular buffers. And I think there are more features, but this is like a small thing, but really great to see that it's now behaving like this. So now let's go to neovim again and run all tests. So yet now let me show you what actually changed. So I renamed here. Let me just jump there. Renamed this one. It was address lines. The name does not matter yet. I'm sure the core maintainer of neovim maybe suggest another name, or maybe don't agree with the implementation at all and we have to rework it. But for now, I renamed it because before it was lines, like address for lines. And now it is possible also to have columns in there. So you have line and column numbers in there. And in the future, also using lines and columns for the blockwise operations. The thing is here that we have a list of commands where we define which addresses this command actually accepts, and you can select only one. This was the reason why I had to change the implementation, because I tried to use here like address line and then address char for line-wise and char-wise selections, and it doesn't match up with the current implementation how it is meant to use with this command declarations, and therefore I reverted it and introduced an extra parameter which defines in which operation, like address operation mode, you want to execute a specific command. So you have the address positions, which could be lines or also jar-wise selection, like lines and columns. And then you have this address mode, which defines which mode you want to use. Is this line-wise mode or is this jar-wise mode, and maybe in the future also the block operation mode. So this is what I added. Address mode. Let me just maybe adjust here the comment. Type type of operation. Should we call it differently? Address mode. Let's call it like this. Line-wise or char-wise. Address mode. Mode for this positions. Yeah, maybe the maintainers can come up with a better description. So, yep, this is basically the change. So we have a new address mode. Parameter, property. And yeah, and the renaming of this enum value. So now if we search, yeah, that's what I mean. X commands Lua. So basically here you have all the commands, and then you always define which address type it accepts. And we have here address positions. So if I would have address lines and address chars, then I could not look up which it actually accepts, because it would be two different types, and there is nowhere else here something like this. At least as I can see, it's always one address type per command, and therefore I decided to do it that way. Let's see. So now let's see what the actual errors are. After the changes, I had a couple of unit tests and functional tests that were broken. For the functional test part, I fixed all of them. But for the old tests, there are a couple which are breaking. actually start at the top. Yeah, let's start with this one. We have here got exception. Error while processing request. Python evil vim. Is here it's failing. Test a lot. Error executing Lua. Where is this error defined? Here, executor, see? Two of them. Lua something something and Lua function. I think this was it, right? There's no here Lua function, it's Lua and then vim arrow. Process call. And error in test X global. Is this a different error already? Yeah, this one is a different one, right? But there we have multiple errors from the same test file. Found error, found error, found error. Can we see somewhere what's actually did go wrong there? Provide a Python free call. Python evaluate. It's really hard to see the actual errors in the old tests. So I'm glad that the new Lua tests, the whole functional tests are much easier to read and to analyze. So I will skip this one for now. Maybe it will resolve it when I resolve the others. Here we have this, not an editor command. This is not an editor command. Okay. Courage return. Feed keys. That's feed keys was that it's just as you are typing the characters, I guess. X and T was the mode. Handle keys as if typed, otherwise they are handled as if coming from a mapping. This matters for undo, opening, folds, etc. Okay, and execute commands until type ahead is empty. This is similar to using normal. You can call feed keys several times without X. You can call feed key several times without X and then one time with X, possibly with an empty string, to execute all the type ahead. Okay. So this means we'll get here. It works fine. And then this is going to the end. R, X, Q, BQ. R, X, Q. What's the big Q again? Beat the last recorded register. Test for G, pattern visual. To run VI commands in X mode. Then it tries to run this command with visual. Search return. I had already issues with this command, so I with the same test. Don't remember what the issue was. I changed the stuff back and forth multiple times, so I really don't know state currently. No range allowed. Set clipboard. No range allowed. Yeah, one cool other feature that I used recently for exactly the same case, but for a different error. So, there's this cool thing. If you have a specific error and you want to stop exactly there when the error happens, and you want to set the breakpoint there, but there are many of places where it actually can happen. You can just search for this, like for this error, right? So we search and then we move everything that we found in quick fix list, right? And then you can do C, do, and then you can execute any command, and we can also execute Lua commands. And what you then can do is do a require. And then you do debugger adapter protocol. And then you can say set breakpoint and run it. Boom. You would also set it here, but it does not matter, actually. And any other place, you get also the breakpoint set. So if you run your program with a debugger, it will stop there when the error arises. So I hope it's helpful for you. So, but in the old test, I don't know how to attach a debugger for this tests. And yeah. It could only happen here on address error. here or here. Where are we here? This is the one command. No range allowed. And here. This one doesn't support a range, but it is given a range. Could do a bad trick here. Just replace it replace this with another error and see, because I don't know how to debug in these tests. They use this small hack. If this is still the same error, then it does not happen there. So, and there are only 3 places, so we can just eliminate all the other cases to know where it's really happening. So it was not it. Then we can go over here, do this again. So now we have 50-50. If the arrow changed, then it is this place or the other one. So it seems this is the one. Actually, this would mean one command. This NI not implemented. It's not implemented, and it's not X range. This count is bigger than 0. Clipboard. Then we changed address count must be here bigger than 0. How could this happen? Running the G command without anything. We match. This is beginning of the line, right? Global set clipboard. Register clipboard. Set command. Does it actually mean we have a range, a default range, right? So we should be here then. Yeah, we have address position. For address type, address position, default is the cursor line number. Avoid using an invalid line number. So, okay. X command C, global. What do we set there? We get this here. And nesting the command works on one line. This allows for this. So, okay, this is what I changed here. And this is basically what makes us trouble here. Here, this was before. This can break other tests. And let's see if we can fix this one. So this doesn't change anything. I put it back then. So we go over here. Set marks. Let's try it here. Because I think the first if here is not executed. Because we use regular expression in this global command, right? And it should use this here where we first iterate and then see where it where the regex matches and mark all the lines where you found the match, and afterwards we go over all matches and do whatever command we want to run for all the matches. Does it make any difference here? I don't think so. Because this one is only applied here. And then we go to the second pass. We do this part here. Oh, and we do address count 1 here. So this does not count as address 1 in some cases. If this passes, then it is like this. It's a strange behavior then, because this would mean we have actually a line range. Which would mean we have one address defined, right? Even if implicitly, and then we will call the set command here. And it does not accept ranges. And therefore it fails. But actually, we have a range here when we do the matching. And it should be passed. So either the set command should just ignore it, wow, this solved pretty every error except this Python evaluation error. Crazy. And I added this because I thought it's makes sense, because we set here a line number, so it is an address, like a line address. Let's run also this Lua spec functional tests. If we didn't break anything with this, passed. Looks good. So then maybe we just save this change. Can delete this one. Okay. And does this even work with this pi evaluation? Pi x eval. Evil functions. And script host evaluate name. Archvars. And this is, what is this type value? What? Variable type, variable log status, number, special value, floating point number, list for var list can be null, dictionary, closure, blob, actual value, type, val union. TV list append string, evil call provider, phone call, function, is there vim something in C? Object to vim. Well, fits. Yeah, I thought maybe there is a function which is called vim, because I don't really know how this works internally. Python eval. Test by eval. So it is by eval request by eval. Hmm. Strange. So wait, what do we have here? Code exception in test by free evil vim return this one. Vim error code while processing request by evil. Most recent call. Provide a Python free call. So this is here, line 32. So line 32. Okay, this is this. Yeah. Definitely it is there. IX evil. Does not matter. Signature. Parameters, expression, or any. Has to be this code here. And why it's failing? Clear the value returned by the provider and returns an empty type value to T. That's the one. Print app. This is. We also saw here, right? Do we have any changes here in evil? Okay, we have the provider, we have the method, which would be vim then. No, oh, it's evil. Then the args. Python evil args, which would be vim, I guess. The arguments. This is a var list. Text float. String. Function calls. Call function. So this could be related to this user command changes. Oops. It's not what I wanted. So this could be it. Out for range. Using buffer lines. Call a function with its resolved parameters. X call inner. Low level implementation of call. This anywhere? Only this two. Lua function. I don't even know what it would do actually, this command. Python eval. Don't know. Vim. Python free. Is it somewhere else? Find regret. That's a big help. So how to actually use it? Pattern. Pattern, what is default irregular expression used for searching? Hi, Gunfireman. How are you? What's up? So this should work, but doesn't find anything. There is something to skip the ignored files, I guess. No ignore. No ignore global, no ignore files. No ignore. Yeah, thanks. I'm also fine. A little bit tired, but fine. And a little bit cold. I hope I don't get ill. But yeah. Where is this even executed like this? Cannot find it. I think usually you say in English that you're cold, you mean you're getting ill, something like that, right? Mm-hmm. It's cold outside, I think it's warm. Yeah, it's cold outside, but it's warm in here. It's fine. I just meant I think I'm getting ill. I'm feeling like I'm getting ill. So should I rewrite this test in Lua so we can use the debugger maybe? Function name, internal method. And it should actually fail, right? So let's go back here. So it should catch cannot serialize legacy Vim object. Value to convert return Python object to a Vim value. It seems it fails somewhere else. So earlier, I would guess. Valid Python expression and return its result converted to Vim data structures. Numbers and strings are returned as they are. Strings are copied through. Lists are represented as Vim list type. Dictionaries are represented as Vim dictionary type. Non-string keys result in error. Can I just search for this? Nope. Not like this, at least. Hmm. I hope you don't get flu. What's flu? Enlighten me, please. What's flu? This is only a variable that we define and set it to 1, so this makes no sense if I search for this. But cannot serialize. Not serialize. Should be 8, 9. So actually if we search for this, right, in H, so we should be should have this somewhere defined. Oh, now I get it. I have to rebuild because some of them are generated. Grippe. It's called it is called flu. Didn't knew that. But thanks. But now it's the right time for this kind of things, right? Yeah, when it's getting colder outside. Everyone getting ill. So I'll be right back. Yes. So no. Just tested the buttons on my Stream Deck. Now, if we search for, oops, that's the wrong one. This one, E, this one, and in H and C. Where is this defined? So which code is actually throwing them? Strange. Translation files, right? So it's just look for this. Completely different thing here. Versions, not the error messages. So when we search for this now, only here. So even if after we generated all the files, I like the autumn. Halloween will be coming soon. Yeah, this is great time for you, right? Do you will decorate your stuff inside and also outside? There's like also crazy stuff there for Halloween. Thanks. Stuff like this. This is also pretty funny. I'm not sure why it's so slow on my side. Crazy. Ah, now it's faster. This is also great. Do you need one of those? Oh, or really a cool project could be creating a robot hand, which kind of stands like this and moving. This would be a great project for Halloween. What do we have else here? They look great. So I have to do another short break. My cat is dropping stuff. I have to pull her down. Be right back. So I'm back. That's cute. Oh, there are more of them. Cute Medusa. Ooh. From Jack. There are more of them. Cool. So let's go back to this stuff here. Oh. That worked. Do we still cannot find the string anywhere? Legacy Vim object. Let's see, is this a Python error message? Just something Python specific? Python 3. What? And then Python. Something like this. What if we search directly here with RG? Then we search just for cannot serialize. Yes, I'm decorating outside. My neighbors and relatives will have something to look at. Yeah. To scare the hell out of them. Like that you're trying to get your neighbors the heart attack of their life, right? Yeah, maybe there are more houses to sell in your neighborhood after Halloween. So I don't really get this error. Also, I don't get where it's coming from. In the meantime, do you want to see another small project I started? Started to create a small drone, small quadrocopter. I found this cool project on GitHub. Let me search GitHub Flex drone. This one. And it should be pretty easy to do because there are not that many components. It's an ESP32 mini. Then IMU. And yeah, small other stuff. MOSFET transistor. I don't have anything, and I don't have everything bought yet. So I'm lacking ESP32 mini, but I have other microcontrollers which I bought a long time ago, but didn't really get to do anything with them. I tested just a couple of small things, but I already forgot how to do them, how to wire things up and how to actually flash them and stuff. But yeah, I think it should be doable. So I printed already the frame and got some other stuff like the MOSFETs. I bought some, and motors. Yep. Let's see if I can get finished that in a couple of weeks. I have the time. Like the IC cold hand from Wednesday. Yeah, this would, as I said before, this would be a great project to kind of create a small robot which can just walk like the hand. That's self-made, right? Should be actually doable, I guess. Yep. Vim. So this one can be found. Oops. Or couldn't it be found? Here. Lure p-call estate args count. Type well exec. L state. Global L state. Args count. Red. What's this? Type value. This is this one. Arguments count. Call. Executor. See. URP call. Status, and this should return status, right? Call status. And it should then the error happens somewhere here. and results. Lua Pico. Lua API and args and results error function. Nice Graph. Mir geht es gut. Geht es Ihnen? Nightbot is greeting you, Scruff. You're getting along together, right? Yeah, you're like an old couple. Yeah. Nightbot is biased or Nightbot is a racist. I don't know. Yeah, right, I am a wife beater. Huh? I mean, if Nightbot were my wife, I'm sure would be pushed to 6 streams. Are you working on something for GitHub? Yeah, I'm working for something neovim related, as I did all my last streams. I want to finish this one. I really do. And I just currently have only like one test failing, and it's driving me nuts. Yeah, you can call it fetish. Yeah, I think. I'm kind of IT mensch, yes. Kind of. Have you tried turn it on and off again? Off and on again, I mean. Yeah, you know this IT mensch in Germany. Yeah. Best job ever. Divorce. You cannot live without Nightbot. Don't foolish yourself. Yes, yes, exactly. He sits in his office, takes a lunch break, goes home. I think I have to add chat here so that in the stream we can see the chat. What do you think about that, Relish? So everyone can see what you write. Yeah, you can express yourself to the world. I mean, I don't have that many subscribers that you can call them the world, but yeah. Relish, I'm surprised you're not subscribed. Thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. Like, if you have all your other 500,000 accounts, you could also follow me, then maybe I get higher up the ranks. Scrub is such a mensch, his follow is worth 2. Yeah, you don't have that many? I thought you have like hundreds and hundreds. Yeah, not yet. Yeah, then you know what you have to do for the next stream. You need a bot army. Oh, don't promote Windows. Nightbot. I think I have to configure Nightbot to give everyone who writes Windows just a break for a couple of minutes. Especially if it's Windows 11. This should be really prohibited at that channel here. Like TJ had this stuff for Visual Studio Code, I guess. Everyone he says that it came only beep. So I have to set up the same for Windows. Windows deserves that. I switched from Windows to Linux because it's awesome. And because it's free. And because it's better. And because it sucks less than Windows. And because you have more freedom. And because it's not Windows. And because it's also not Mac OS. So when? Sorry, I cannot read. Relish. When did I switch? I don't remember anymore. I think it's now 3 or 4 years, 5 years, so something like that. No, not 10. Not 10. Yeah. No, I have a wife actually, and it's not Linux. No, Linux is like my neighbor, a good neighbor. Like the neighbor where you can borrow stuff from, right? Yeah, that's kind of a neighbor where you just get over and just grab some stuff that you need and never get back and never give back. Benefits. Yeah, that kind of benefits. Yeah. So I don't know if I ever will solve this issue. Hi, Victor. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Ja, läuft. Danke, Victor. Was geht bei dir? Was machst du noch so spät? I'm not that long on Windows. Like I don't switch completely to Linux a long time ago, but I used Linux for a longer time. I think over 10 years, definitely. But not like regularly, so I don't know if this counts, but I started using or trying out to stuff with Linux and kind of installing it on my second machine. Back then on a small notebook, like 10-inch or something, or 11. This really small ones back then. Asus. I don't know. In a small notebook. Yeah, this kind of machine. This one. I think this was the first one where I installed Linux on. EPCs. This kind of stuff, yeah. Back then it was Debian. I think Debian was the first I ever tried. But it was directly after I finished school. Yeah, that's it. So anyone of you are familiar with this part of neovim? With the how Lua functions are called and how this Python provider, was it provider? I think it was provider. Yeah, Python provider code. Timer is over. Welcome back, Scruff. We missed you, but behave yourself, or Nightbot will punish you. But not in the type you like punishment, the other one. Not the SM part of punishment. That maybe, yeah, well, for German you have a hint of humor. Strange. You must be half German then. You're right, basically. But I think I already mentioned that. I'm half German and half Russian, so. Like my keyboard, it's half-half, And here we go again, Scrap. Yeah, I'm speaking Russian also. Да. Но не так часто. Yeah, I was actually born there, so. So Germans truly have no humor. It's the Russian in you. I don't know. Maybe it's the mix. Born in Mother Russia. Wow, didn't not think so. Yeah, many hear the accent still if I'm speaking German. The accent is there, but many cannot actually put me like in the Russian side of things because of my accent. They just know that I'm not completely German. Yeah, I think a small one, small accent when I speak German. When was the last time I went to Russia? It's a long time ago because of the war and stuff. Just not possible currently. Yeah, which sucks, really. I don't know here. Especially if you have family here, you can't visit unless they can live or something. It's worse in Ukraine. Imagine if you were Ukrainian, you'd be getting drafted. Yeah, I think it's like, I don't like to get too political here and stuff, but I think it's bad for both sides. Like the people in both countries cannot really decide anything. So, like, if you, regardless where you live in currently, if they decide to go to war, you just cannot do anything against that. It's not your decision. So the same, you just have to imagine the same for the Russian people. They are not the ones who decide. Yeah. And that's basically true for every country. Right. Yeah. Kind of pick the best from the genetic pool. Yeah. German discipline and Russian humor. Yeah. You can say so, I guess. But Scrap, where are you coming from? Take a guess. I think you're German. Or at least half German. But because you have humor, I guess you're not German. At least partially not. I'm just trying to follow your algorithm to find out where you're coming from. Well, I'm from a post-socialist country. I have some German ancestors, also some relatives in Germany. Okay. I don't even know what post-socialist mean, to be honest. we can Google, I guess. Eastern Europe and Asia. Ah. Yeah, now I know. So you're Slovenian then also? No? Okay. Close thought. No, it's not Linux Pumpkin, it's the Jack Pumpkin from Nightmare Before Christmas. And we just looked before into stuff that you can print with 3D printer. And yeah, currently is everything Halloween related at the top, I guess. Of course I have a 3D printer. What a silly question is that? I live near Austria, that's a hint. Okay. So I'm really bad in geographics, so. So should we just pinpoint you on Google Maps? You're from Czechia. Hungary? Ah. That's cool. I have some colleagues which are coming from Hungary. Yeah, sure, really. Colleagues which are working remotely from there, so. I'll just make a break. Be right back. So I'm back. No, I talked bullshit, to be honest. We don't have colleagues from Hungary. I just it was not really true. Yeah. I don't lie. I actually just was confused. I mean, another country, and I just confused it with Hungary. So that's why. Not because I wanted to lie. So yeah, that's must be it. So let me just see. I think I will push the changes. This would not get much better. Let's just have this part here. Huh? Didn't I save that? Refactor. Introduce address mode. Comrade AK. I knew this guy from Russia. He liked a specific type of pasta. Grechka. Yeah, Grechka is really popular there. Yeah, everyone loves that. All the babushkas make that. Yes. But actually, you know pretty much stuff about Slovenian people and German people, as it seems. Are they teaching that in Ungarn? Yes, salted cucumbers with vodka. So that's your personal interest then. Yeah, I know. You're so informed. You're kind of spion, huh? Yes, Craft AI. Use Craft FBI maybe. The people also informed. This sounds pretty shady now. Oh, don't scare me. I don't like to look outside and seeing someone looking through the window. Yeah, I imagine that. Waiting for me to come out. Scruff, do you program something? To steal, yeah, steal my Linux distribution. You should start if you didn't learned it. It's easy. You have just to start. If you're a student, especially if you're a student, you have to learn programming. You have so much time as a student. You will never have that much time in your world. In your life again. Never. Yes, you have much time. As a student, you have all the time in the world. Yeah, come on. As a student, what are you doing? Studying, sleeping. Eating some yum yum soup. Yeah, preparing for an exam. How much do you prepare for an exam? Like 2 hours in a week? Two and a half hours a week? Okay. What do you study? Naturwissenschaften. Yeah, psychology or something like that. Geschwatzwissenschaft. Yeah, I thought so. Something where you have to talk much. Because I think you can talk much. Then something with politics or something with law. Lawyer. Hmm. You want to be a judge. A solicitor. What is that? Ah, Rechtsanwalt. Okay. It takes a lot to become a judge. Yeah, I know that. Or at least I hear it. Like, let's say it like that. You have to be at least 35 years of age. You have to wait for a judge to die, resign when you have to apply for the position. Zu viel Arbeit. And you think if you're like finished with Jura and you have to work, you don't have too much Arbeit? I can imagine that as a solicitor you have to work pretty hard. So, okay, so it's much more, even more work. Okay, understand. Or you learn programming and you know, like this IT bench, you know a lot of IT bench. And you all the day can drink coffee and do nothing. Yes, you become a tech pro and you can stream with me. But you have to drop Windows. That's the only how do I call that? Oh, you're close to Windows. They're paying you. You're paying your bills. €60 or something on legitimate key. How did I really like? Does Windows cost €60? I guess it's more. Windows key buy. Come on. Legitimate key for €5. Not sketchy at all. €2. 282. And that's even a pro version. Yeah, OEM keys are issued to organization and it's mostly it's volume keys. And they sell them still and they don't work half of the time and then you have to write them and they send you another one, which is hopefully not used. And yeah, that's a scam, actually. Because legally, you're not even allowed to use them. That's talking about here, pirating software. Yoshi boy. No, we don't do stuff like that. I just was looking how much Windows keys are currently cost, but yeah, it's just the first couple of matches here are not legitimate sales, I would say. Like, come on, €15. Even the highest one, €70, that cannot be true. Yeah, sketchy one. Well, some keys you are, but not once issued to some government organization or company unrelated to PC assembly. It's all sketchy. Yeah, even if they are related to PC assembly, they cannot sell them without hardware, so it's not legal to them, for them to do that. And you're also not allowed to use them, so it's sketchy. But it's really hard that if you just type in Google you want to buy a legitimate Windows key, you cannot really find any in the first couple of matches. You cannot find any legitimate seller for Windows keys. But yes, Linux is free and it's really great. And lately it's also really great for gaming. It actually works pretty good. I wonder why they don't have legit keys more openly advertised. I don't think that they need to, and I don't think anyone buys them really. Most of the people buy the hardware and there is already Windows installed. So there are not that many people who really need a separate key, I guess. And on many hardware, the keys are also written into the BIOS somewhere. So if you reinstall Windows, it reads the key from BIOS and then it knows that it's legitimate and it's fine. So you don't have to buy a new one. You cannot lose it with the hardware. For desktops, you need keys, but only if you build yourself. Which one I tried? I tried many and I played many. Let me think of which. Monster Hunter World, one of them. Monster Hunter Wilds also works pretty great. Then there is also, what's this called? Soul Frame. This works pretty good too. I also streamed it, so on YouTube I think there are some videos where I've streamed. They are currently on Prelude, so it's kind of a beta or something. Yeah, I assembled my too, but because I don't have, like, I don't need Windows, I never had this issue to really need to buy a Windows key. Oh, what specs do I have? Let me see if I can show it. Wait. Yeah. Let me move this to 3. That's my specs. And I'm running Fedora Linux 43 beta, by the way. Yeah, but it still compiles pretty slow because it's in container. So I'm running the whole development stuff in a container. It's called Toolbox. Yeah, it's pretty fancy CPU. But yeah, AMD is really great on Linux, especially the graphic cards. They are pretty good supported. Yeah, definitely. If you want to play on Linux, I would recommend definitely to buy an AMD card. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure if this was a 70,000 700 or 7,800. Already forgot. And then I don't see it either directly from here. I have an AMD processor, but NVIDIA GPU. Yeah, I'm sorry for you. Because of the NVIDIA GPU. I mean, they are kind of more capable, but they really suck on Linux. And that's for me more important than more performance. So no, if it doesn't work, then it's even less of a performance. Gets a lot of hate, but frankly, it's fine for everything I've played so far. So you're using Linux, actually. Was this your coming out now? On Windows. Yeah, on Windows it works. I would really be surprised if it would not work on Windows. Yes, NVIDIA is bad on Linux. I mean, they have currently a Linux driver and stuff, so it's getting better. It's not like it's will forever stay like that, but currently you have just less trouble if you use an AMD GPU, so that's what I did. And it's kind of also like supporting buying a hardware from someone who cares about Linux support, just also a statement, so. You're proud Windows 11 mensch. Linux is like cult. Oh, Linux is really great for many things. That's not like only because you're in tech you like Linux and stuff. I can only tell you one story that I had lately. I had one USB stick and I tried to format it. Right, I'd pull it just into Windows machine because my wife used Windows, so I tried to do format on Windows because he needed the stick, so I did it on her PC. And I tried to format and it says just that you cannot format because it's locked or something like that. I don't remember the exact message, but it was prohibited, so you cannot just reformat because of there's some kind of a flag that you can set on a partition that it cannot be formatted, so it's kind of read only or something like that. Don't remember anymore. Something like this, and you just cannot do anything about that. I mean, you definitely could if you run some commands or something, but it was really hard to do, like, out of the box. And what I then did is just I started my machine. I put the USB stick in. I opened the disk program and just reformatted. Linux didn't care if this was some flag set on any partition or something for that. If I say I want to reformat the whole USB stick, then it's just says, okay, I will do that. Because she did not care about that stuff. And she play some games which cannot work on Linux. And I don't try to force here in that she in Linux, so that's why. Yeah, I just trying to force Linux on you, not anyone else. I think she is a Linux user deep in her heart, but she didn't know it currently. Yeah, I mean, Nightbot has an attitude. Just imagining if Nightbot would be a person and you two would meet. This would be hilarious. So let's maybe reformat also. What is Karen? No. Stereotype? Okay. Karen is a pejorative slang term typically used for to refer to a middle-class woman who is perceived as entitled or excessively demanding. Okay. I'm learning stuff from you, Scruff. You're really versatile. Oh, that's also looking great. Crazy. What people are designing is really crazy. In a good way. Karens are left wing woman. Left wing woman. Who complain, ask for the manager and cause trouble. I'm such a source of information. Yeah. Yeah, you should really teaching, yeah. Yeah, I usually 3D printed spare parts or replacement parts for kids' toys and stuff. And yeah, lately I have some projects that I'm currently not working on because I want to finish this neovim pull request. But I have a keyboard that I want to build. Like this is a self-built keyboard. The dactyl menu form are they called, I guess. This is one of the projects. And the other one I started recently was a quadrocopter. This is a cool one and easy to build. So I want to start with this one. Cool, but where will you get the electronic internal components of it for drone? Yeah, electronic components, you can just buy them. I mean, most of the stuff that's needed for this keyboard is just a microcontroller and then a couple of PCBs. The PCBs I already bought from Scree or something like that it's called, I guess. They look like this. This is for one key and you have to solder them together. I will stream that when I'm finished with the pull request and like starting to work on this project. I'm not sure if I will stream the whole soldering or just for one piece because like it's also split keyboard and I have two of them and I have to solder both. And I also like bought already like the switches that I want to use. Silent one. ASMR. Can it carry out targeted attacks? Attacks on what? Throwing tomatoes over your head. If you're like sitting again behind my window and stalking, waiting for me to come out, I just open up the window from another room and then fly with a drone with a tomato over your head and then strike directly with a tomato off your head. Wow, that's a lot of do-it-yourself. Yes, I'm just like to get into this things lately. Because I think the whole microcontroller stuff and electronics, it's kind of interesting. I never did too much of this stuff before, but it's interesting, and you can build really cool things, especially if you have a 3D printer also. There are many things possible, so this is really interesting. Yeah, and another thing, but this comes way later. I also bought some servos, so this kind of stuff here. They should be also easy to control. Stuff like this. And there you can build stuff like spider robots. Or other moving parts. This IT bench life so relaxed. Yeah, and you're working your butt off for to be a judge one day. You have time to programming for free on some Linux app. You have time to shop for spare skulls. You have time to design things with 3D printer. Wow. Yeah, and if you would support me, I would even have more time to do this stuff. Did you know that with a Prime subscription you can actually subscribe to someone? It's called for I think 1 month or something without additional costs. So you have time to build spider robots and drones or fancy piece of paper. Or fancy piece of paper. Yeah, that's true. Reformatted the stuff. Nice. Good. I have to push this also because else it will definitely fail on the linting part. Just some moving this stuff. Okay, yeah. Oops. I mean, I'm working for a fancy piece of paper, a very fancy one. And you could print it yourself, theoretically. Just buy a fancy printer and then you can print it. It was not a advice. Never mind that it would be a fraud. No. Yeah, just say you need it for theater or theater role that you have to play somewhere. Yes. That's me. Yeah, actually you can print it. It would be not a good advice to pay with the printed one, but you actually can print. Yeah, theoretically you could do even that. But I would not advise you to do that. So now let's see what we have here. That's my PR, I guess. I need to look them up here. I think this is X command C, right? Read commands. Do write. Where is the do read command? Oh, it's here in X read. This is the read one. This should also work. Specular here. Well, let's search for charwise. Oh, and works with charwise range before delete command. But I can copy this and run the read command. Right, so we could insert this, this. Do you know what open source app I do like? No. Enlighten me. What do you like? Enki. Never heard of this one. Enki. Flashcard program. Smart spaced repetition flashcard program. It's in Rust. Rust mentioned. Let's go. We begin program for that. It's possible to make add-ons. It's the second one. Not the GitHub. Okay. This one. That's the same. Isn't it? Yeah, that's the same. It's just this is the website and the other one is the source code. Yeah, that's the same. See? It's the same. You have even a link from the website to the source code. Remembering is easier with Enki. Enki is a flashcard program that helps you spend more time on challenging material and less on what you already know. Interesting. Fancy schmancy. What even is GitHub? Yeah, GitHub is a platform where you can store and manage source code, and there are many using it. Cherich, welcome. You make these cards and you review them, and based on how well you did, it will give you the cards you need to spend more time on learning. Okay. Scruff is a Windows 11 proud user who wants to be converted to the Linux community. He's just shy and we have 2 viewers. Yeah, we are rocking it today. Somewhat from Germany and somewhat from Russia. Yeah. A good mix of both. I'm not sure I want to be converted. I paid the good money for Windows 11. I'm happy with. Never mind, it probably steals your data. Yeah, it steals your data. And it's getting the money back when it sells your data. Yeah, we were also, Sherich, we also was looking into some of possibilities to print 3D stuff for Halloween. There are really great things there. Oh, this looks also really cool. Nice one. I think this one has to be printed separately with the mask. Or is it just 2 colors in one run? Dislike Bill. Don't really, but I like the idea that I can print some useful stuff for myself, like cases or details. What is this? Spooky Halloween. Iris Jack and Sally stained glass star. Geometric wall art. Whoa, this looks sick. You can even put your headphones on it. I'm mainly using Fedora. Cosmic settings. Let me just open up the settings. We had a look before at that. So Fedora Linux. The current version I have installed is 43, which is beta. Yeah, Fedora rocks. And I use Silverblue, so the atomic variant of it. Yeah, and it's really great. Also, one thing that I love about it is that you can easily build your own distribution, or at least modify some stuff for the image. It's almost as good as Windows 11. Yeah, almost. I don't really need it, but it's great because you can revert if something goes wrong. I had it a couple of times, especially if you need to work really with your machine, and you do an update and something breaks. You can go back and just wait a couple of days till they fix that and then try to update again. I had it a couple of times in the past that it saved my day. So, yeah. And also another nice effect is also that most part of it is read-only, so you don't accidentally can delete stuff or make adjustments that you don't want. So it's more capable for developers. It is definitely good for developers, but also for regular users, because if you just update and it kind of fails on restart with the new version, you can just on boot select the previous one. And it works in that way that's like atomic. The name already kind of describes it, that it works in an atomic way. So either it works or you can roll everything back to a previous version. You can use something like DistroBox and Toolbox. Yes, Sherich. Just look at this. And here actually, I'm developing already in Toolbox. That's why it's sometimes slower. Because, yeah, even if it should not affect the performance, I think it does sometimes. Yeah, I wanted to show GitHub. That's my current setup. And that's how easy you can create your own distribution, actually. So this is based on Fedora Silverblue, but I installed some other packages on top of it. So like Lua Kit and Alacrity, Fish and stuff, Bootsy. Yeah, and also the Cosmic stuff. So that's why I had Cosmic settings here available. Yeah, I kind of have a Beast PC, but as I said before, I still see that the performance in Toolbox is different. Yeah, I used it or tried it. It's an interesting one, especially with combination of this one. So you can just create your own images. And what I am doing is I'm pushing this image to GitHub, and I just build it every night, and I pull it then, because I think with boot C you cannot really install stuff on top of it, at least not with the boot C command, if I understood it correctly. So I have boot C installed here. Let's just here boot C. And it states you need the other thing is with boot C you need to have privileges to do that stuff. So you need sudo boot C update and stuff. It's called layering, yes. Yeah, yes. Yeah. But when you build your own images like this, you don't need the layering, because you can do already the layering in here, and you just deliver the whole image. And if this building fails, then you just have a failed build and you don't push it, so you don't update it also on your device. Yeah, it's also kind of, you should do as less layering as possible, because then it's just easier from if you do rebase from like Fedora 42 to 43 and stuff. It's not really distros, it's OCI. So it's kind of is a distro, because in the future they will also deliver, like, I think the kernel also with the container image, if I understood that correctly. And yeah, then you would be able to switch to have even kernel updates with it directly combined. And you could then, if you switch from how do they call that? If you do an upgrade, you just get a new entry in your boot menu, and this kind of like a new commit or something. If you compare it to Git. Yeah, I played a little bit around with that, but I don't fully understand every aspect of that, so using standard. So yeah, the OCI and the containers are like the delivery format. So you can just think of it like one delivery format could be zip files, right? Or ISOs or OCI images. So that's the way you can think of it, as like a package format. And what's in there is really an operating system. So they describe this as operating system updates, but this is also like the operating system. And I think in the future, you can also create ISOs from this container. So you can then also use this specific version to actually set up a new PC with exactly that configuration. I have Android on my handy, so you can say it's running Linux, even if the kernel is not vanilla Linux. Oh, you see, it includes Linux kernel. Yeah, this was the idea back then, I remember. Oh yeah, that's already like that, okay. But I think if you're using boot C, right? So I'm not sure if RPM OS 3 already uses this directly, but don't quote me on this. I'm not sure. Yeah, they compare like the container runtimes versus boot runtime. But I think actually this is really an interesting piece of software. And I wanted also to use this for my home lab, like also on Raspberry Pi and stuff with Fedora. Is called IoT. I think Fedora IoT. There is also IoT website. There is also a download or OS 3 versions. Yeah. So and for ARM, there's also an ISO. Yeah, kind of. They use the same stuff behind the scenes. I think OS like boot C is OS 3, but more like on top of OS 3. Let's see if there is something. OS 3 versus boot C. Okay, OS 3 is content addressed storage system for binaries, foundational to projects like OS 3 for atomic deployments, while boot C is a next generation tool designed to replace images by leveraging standard OSC containers for OS images. The shift to boot C aims to provide a more streamlined and standard-based approach to building and deploying operating system, especially in server and IT environments, by directly using container images rather than OS 3 custom file structure within these images. So okay, they are different. I thought it's just also delivering the stuff like in OS 3 format, but the format is different one, right? I will have a look. Let me just see. Mm. There are open containers and other places their whole story would fill a book. Many other who have contributed. I've been following Bootsy stuff since its earliest day. A main developer of RP Mastery, and Bootsy makes convenience arguments as why RP Mastery needs to be abandoned in favor of Bootsy. Bootsy Works is not there yet, but much progress has been made. Bootsy's been discussion. In my opinion, how you feel about this question will be aligned with your thoughts on using containers for building shipping application and or an OS. Bootsy was designed from the ground up to fully container native. The premise is to leverage the existing container ecosystem to build and distribute operating systems, which is kind of really cool idea. Currently, the backing file system transported in the file system is OS3 based. So currently the baking file system transported in the file system is OS3 based, but that could be changed in the future and likely will. So okay, that's what I had in mind. So there currently it is kind of based on the same structure at least. But yeah, I guess it will change in the future. If you're not sold on the idea of using container images as the build delivery mechanism, you may not feel that Bootsy is better. You pointed out a number of features currently missing from Bootsy, and such you have an argument that is not a complete replacement. Personally, I think there is a lot of value in adopting the container native approach for building and distributing an OS in a container image. The breadth of the container ecosystem allows you to tap into the same solution that you have used for building and distributing applications as container images, such as robust CI/CD pipelines, vulnerability scanning, container image signing, etc. Additionally, the language of building containers via container file is very well understood and provides an easy entry point for many people looking to experiment with building an OS in a container image. While OS3 has had some great success, it did not produce the same broad ecosystem and resulting in many users inventing their own bespoke solutions that were not easily adopted by multiple users. That's a good argument, actually. The whole containers are well known, and the whole CI/CD pipeline and tools around the containers are like very striving in the last years. So this is very well adopted currently in the tech. Yeah, Graph, regarding this Nightbot settings, I have to just see what works and what not works, and I will later on adjust them, but for now, just need also to see what the features are of Nightbot and what it does. Later, so believable. You know me already, Scruff. But only because it did like 2 or 3 times false positive doesn't mean that it's wrong always to block that stuff, like links and stuff like that. So finally, while OS3 will remain well supported for quite some time, we focus on efforts of the core RPM-OS3 team are shifting towards bootc, continuing to invest in and advocate for technology that will be replaced by bootc does not feel like a good position to be in. However, doesn't OS3 already support container native booting? After all, bootc knobs or RPM-OS3 are used in parallel right now. So one thing that I can definitely say is RPM-OS3, like to build own images for RPM-OS3 was much harder with the tools back then which were provided for RPM-OS3 than it is now with this native container builds. Even with links, you can remove the message if you deem it unsafe or just not click on it like a normal person. Yeah, it needs to keep calm. Scruffy, you're so emotional. You blue and blue build already exists, they use this. Additional RPM-OS3 supports layering specific packages like drivers and alternative Wi-Fi daemons like IVD, and even a locally generated init RAMFS when required. Does OS3 already work? I know there is a reason to switch to bootc even then, but I don't know the reasons. Please. Okay. So I actually think he already described like the motivation and why they think this is better. And I also think that especially the point that the tooling around the whole container ecosystem is better and people will adopt it more easily if they switch to bootc, because it's just easier to understand and switch to it, because people know how to build container, how to write container file or Docker files. Like I said, I did this for myself already with this one, and this is really easy. Yeah, you can mix this currently. So you don't have to use bootc to use this. But I think this was actually built to later move to bootc. Like this was built for bootc. Yeah, exactly right. Native container files, container file builds are available even without bootc. Like the guy before described, it's currently in the container in a OS3 file structure. What do you mean? Oh, how it was before? What you need to do? Oh, this is really so wait, this is somewhere here. I think this is here. You have 3 files and stuff. This is a new thing. So you have completely understand something new here, and you need to read all the stuff and I don't know all of that, so I just tried it once and it was pretty hard to do, and I dropped that pretty quick. But does it run Crisis? What do you mean, Crisis? Crisis. Oh, you mean on Linux? Okay, sorry, didn't knew that one. Hi, Dev Can Game. Welcome to the stream. So that's really, yeah, you have to use this one, compose tree, then you have a tree file or something, like manifest, where you define how the stuff should be tied together. As I said, I never really did a lot with that. Just tried a couple of times, but yeah. It's much easier with OS3 native containers. So you see this is also here in RPM OS3. They started that with RPM OS3 already, and you could do that for OS3. I meant it on neovim, but a joke on my part, lol. It's fine. Pretty excited about bootc. Yeah, this sounds really great. So I hope also that will get more adoption, because I hope also that the atomic variants get the default ones in the future, because for like many usual people which kind of not too deep in the tech, atomic variants are even better than for tech people, because you have just this one layer of protection where you just update the stuff and it doesn't work. You can just select the previous version, wait a couple of days, try again. If it does not work, wait a couple of more days and try again. And it's harder to break, actually. I mean, I had some cases where it broke in a way where I had to change stuff that it will run, so I could not just revert. But this was because they changed many things to prepare for bootc and prepare for this OS3 native containers. When the whole system is working and established, then it will be hard to break. And that's a really great thing. And I hope this will help Linux to adopt better in the future, like for the normal people out there. Like Fedora strives, I guess, to be the distribution for everyone, and this will definitely help them. Have you looked into uBlue, or are you gonna stick with Fedora and wait for bootc adoption? Yeah, I will wait. I will stick with Fedora. Because I don't really miss anything currently on Fedora. I don't have any reason to switch to uBlue. But I used back then one version of them. This was before Cosmic Spin was introduced in Fedora. The initial work was done there, so this in this repository here, and I used this one when I tested Cosmic. It was great, so thank you for the uBlue team, and all the people who did this. Really, really was great and worked perfectly for me. So and also with what I mentioned before, like if stuff break or broke for the next version, you can just stick to the old one, wait and update. Yep, but this is discontinued because now it's an official spin of Fedora. And it's also atomic, as it was atomic from the beginning. Let's go back, see what broke. Functional tests were broken. Really? But on Ubuntu only? Yeah, the rollback feature is unbeatable. Yeah, really great one. I also kind of curious why Steam didn't adopt the OS3 version. They created something custom. I think like AB. I don't know how that's called on that part. For deployment, it's called blue-green deployment or AB deployment or something like that. Where you just have, I think, two partitions or two different parts where you update the one, and if this one breaks, you can use the previous one, and this is like switched every time you update. The other part is updated. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they have kind of atomic. It's it does the update in an atomic way. Yes, but this is yeah. Sadly, they implemented something for their own. It would be great for the adoption if they would also use boot C. Yes, it's like an Android. I read also somewhere about that this is the same pattern that's used on Android device. AB partitions, that's how they call them. Yeah, thank you. So why did it broke here actually? Test auto command failed. See output above and summary for more details. Error 1. Is it some kind of internal error? Is it really because of something I changed? Doesn't seem like that. Because like the other parts were successful. But all on no unit tests didn't failed. Strange. Maybe I could somehow re-trigger them. Linear build stop sub command failed. Lua chunk. Thanks for contributing to neovim. Yeah, I didn't contribute too much. I think one pull request was accepted. This is the second one I do. But yeah, you're welcome. I mean, I benefit so much from the work that the other people did for neovim and from the core team from neovim. So I thought giving something back would be good. And also I wanted to get into neovim core development a little bit. Yeah. And also this kind of, it's written in C, right? And C is completely new to me. So it was an opportunity to learn also C a little bit. Could not harm. I'm doing, yeah, I do developing for my job also, but mostly in C#. And also like more cloud native stuff. So this, like the whole neovim stuff is new to me. Also like this low level programming with C. I used to program with higher level languages. But this feature would be great when I finish it. This would be a great one. I'm really excited to do that and to merge it one day. So we could write, so works with char range before read command. And if we say re 5 5 re 5 till 5 9. Oh, we have missing fear here, 4 here. 5. Let's say 5 0. And we say we want to read from echo ABC. Right, so we would replace this and write ABC. I think this should be it. No, I'm not using NVIDIA GPU. Let me show it. Cosmic settings. This. So this is my hardware, like for the most part. I cannot say for sure if this is 7700 XT or the 800 one. I cannot see it also directly here. I will look it up for the future. Yeah, I bought everything from AMD because I know just that they have a better Linux support. Yeah, because I installed the whole Cosmic suite. Also, I have all the files from Cosmic are also installed. I hope just also that the whole Cosmic apps are better supported across all the desktop environments, because like the GNOME apps get more and more dependent directly on Mutter, the base component of GNOME, which everything is connected to. And I had in the past some of the apps that would not start if you don't use GNOME. So you cannot start the apps without GNOME itself. And because I use Sway, this was a problem for me. And I hope that the Cosmic people try to make them as independent as possible. So maybe in the future I will get rid of GNOME stuff for the most part and use Cosmic apps where possible because of that reason. So let's try if this would work. Filter. Should it work like that? No, I don't think so. The read X command. It's the wrong one. It's only read. But how to find this? Should be an X command. They're not prefixed with X, I guess. There we read messages, only share. We have write also. Oh wait, is this read? Ah, now we have it. So insert the file name below the cursor. But actually, range, insert the file name default current file below the specified line. Execute command and insert standard output below the cursor on the specified line. Temporary file is used to store the output of the command, which is then read into the buffer. So it's appending only. I thought it should replace the stuff, but it does not. So it should only append, but it should append here if we say at 5.3.5 here, right? This should append actually between 3 and 4. And I would even say if this is on the char position 5, it should append only like wait. Here ABC like this. Right, this is what we would expect then for the read command. Let's see. We do a do bang here. Address count 1. Do in false, but do out true. Address count. What was there, the cursor position? Oops. That's the wrong one. Insert file name default current file below the specified line. Cursor or the specified below the cursor or the specified line. Let's close this. This is the reading part, but I think I have to change it there because there we write the output. So I have to check if The address count is 1, then I would use the last line or the specified line. I mean, what does it mean, the specified line, if I have a selection? What is then the specified line? If I write a range here from here to here, what is the specified line then? Is this the last line or is the first line? Yeah, Sherich, it was nice as always. See you. Great that you joined. Yeah, me too. I have also to go offline in a couple of minutes. So, bye. See you. So I will also go now. So thank you for the join.